All right, welcome. Thanks for joining us again for the Live Local Marketing, bringing you marketing experts, bringing you information and strategies that work for them practically in the field. Today, we're Miss Allie, Workhorse Marketing. Miss Allie, how are we doing today?
So good. So good to be here.
Awesome, awesome. So as this process goes, we have seven topics that we're going to go through with her. She gets 2 minutes to answer each one. She goes a little over, not a big deal. A little under, not a big deal. And at the very, very, very end, you want to stick around because she can talk to you about her business and how to meet up with her after she shared her vast knowledge about the marketing process. Are we all set?
I think we're ready.
All right, cool. So, first topic is always my favorite topic. So, as an entrepreneur, what do you consider your first win?
Well, I think just being a habitual entrepreneur, my first win is just still being here to tell the stories, right?
Nice.
It's been a long haul. Being in marketing as a woman back in the early '90s has been always been a challenge. So just kind of surviving and clawing my way, through some of the madness, through some of the chaos, and really settling in a place where we're at now, where I founded Workhorse Marketing with the concept of kind of flipping the script on a normal agency and sitting on the side of the table with the client and being an advocate more than an agency partner. And so really getting to do what I love for good people, doing good things. We work with an extensive number of nonprofits. So I think the win in that is really just coming through the flames of a really challenging industry. And I have faced the flames a lot in that time through as Gen X, but really getting to a point now where I get to use all of those lived experiences and put them to good use for clients that we don't necessarily take every client. It has to be someone that feels like they're going to be a good fit with our team and really understand and appreciate the partnership side of the relationship.
So when you say 90s, for everybody that's not wasn't doing it back then, paint a picture. What was it like day to day in the 90s doing marketing?
You
Way
know,
different.
it was really different. It was so much more about, I remember a professor in college always said, you're going to waste 50% of your marketing budget. You
Hmm.
just won't know what 50% is
Yeah.
wasted.
Yeah.
And that was so true. It was a lot of trust and faith. And we don't know what happened with this ad, but people are still coming in. So that's okay.
Oh man. And the AOL discs and the internet first
Oh,
starting up and all the crazy. Yeah,
the
we've
photo-ready
seen it all.
yellow page ads,
Yeah.
like, it was very, very different.
All the stuff. All the stuff. All right. So next one is so of your strengths and skills, what would you consider your best habit?
I joke about this with my team because I am not necessarily a habit person. I live very like, day to day, moment to moment could be
Creative.
a new thing. But the one thing I can land on, and this is why I'm still here having this conversation with you, is I have to know the newest, the best, the funnest, the
Mm,
research. I want to know what's going on in our industry. So, really staying relevant. And it's been interesting because I see, people of my era, of my age, who have not done the work and not leaned into the technology. I was an early adapter to social media. I was an early adapter with YouTube, like all of those things that could really seem kind of outlandish when they first started. And, social media, I love going back and reading some of the old articles like it's a fad, it'll never take, it's for
that's right.
kids, it's so we can
Yep.
share music, Tom's your
Chat.
friend on MySpace. And I could always see the potential through the lens of what this could do for a brand, what this could do to connect you to your brand in a way that ads don't do. You can actually show your personality as a brand in a social way. And of course, now it's adapting and changing and it's so much quicker, faster, those quick little touches
Yep.
instead of long form. So I think my best habit to circle back to that is staying relevant and staying curious.
So if the all over the place and the creative and the staying relevant, when you built your team, did you try to find people that were the opposite of you then?
Yeah, to a
Okay.
point. Now, listen,
Yeah.
if we were all like me, nothing would ever get done. And so it is
Yep.
really important that we have a diverse group. We are completely female at this point, but they're all so different and so important to the, into each role. And so I have so much respect for our
Yeah.
CFO who, keeps things very clean and concise. Our,
Yeah.
project management, client services, all of those roles, even with admin, they have to be able to play their part, design. That's not something I could get up and do every morning. So the respect for that is pretty intense. But yeah, we cannot all be Allies. No, bad place to live.
Just wouldn't work that well. So, all right. So when you sit down then, so you have a creative mind, when you sit down with your clients, how does the focus on stories for their brands look? What kind of types of conversations? What focus is there on story?
Yeah, that's huge for us. That is one of the foundational pieces that we bring, especially in the nonprofit space. And I actually developed, work with a lot of YMCAs around the country. And one of the strategies I developed was, let's put it all out on the table and then create an umbrella where all of those pieces fit together in some way. Notoriously focused on membership, converting for memberships, that which is important, or fund development, but we're forgetting all the amazing stories that come out of a YMCA. Talk about a group of associations doing the work. They're in there, they're doing it. And they just kind of forget to tell the story because the budget in the marketing space doesn't really allow for just good storytelling a lot of the time. It's buy now, click here, join. And so the umbrella strategy was really developed to start connecting the dots. So yeah, I want people to join. I want them to feel engaged, but we still got to tell them that you fed, hundreds of people during a, catastrophe or a natural disaster. We have to tell them that you do free esports for underprivileged children that wouldn't have access to that, or that you provide Wi-Fi. Like, that is the thing that's going to rebalance the scales when it comes to brand equity, right? I can go work out at a Lifetime Fitness for roughly the same cost, maybe some better equipment, but you don't do that because what the why is doing is so vital to your community and your kids and your family. But we got to tell the story. So brand stories, lifeblood of what marketing should be.
Even the boring ones. Let's say, I think on your profile somewhere there is not that it's boring, but let's say a pizzeria, like the focus is pizza.
Yeah.
You still have them tell their family story, the everything story.
Where's the recipe come from? Why is your sauce sweeter than the others? Like, what was the time that you were able to impact your community? And so if you don't have that story, how authentic is it? As a brand, are you authentic? Are you just are we all dialing it in? Are you just, putting product out the door to make money? If your sole purpose as a brand is to create, revenue, I'm not there for that. Yeah.
And Walmart can give you that.
Right. Amen. Yeah, that's for sure.
So as a creative, this is a question for you because I'm sure you can go and go and go and go and go and go. How do you avoid your burnout? It's the new popular question right now. How do you avoid it?
I know. And, it's so tough because as Gen X, we're like, burnout. What's burnout? And so
it means work harder.
I think it really, honestly, right? Oh, you feel tired and exhausted, work longer. And I really try to instill an opposite culture at Workhorse. It's very, very important to me. We take mental health days. We try and, talk about work-life balance and mean it. But for me personally, travel. It is
Cool.
the only thing I love more than marketing, and obviously my family. But I passionately find so much inspiration in travel that if I didn't do it, I think I would be just less of a creative. I rewrite ads everywhere I go. I love being in a foreign country where you're just like, I don't even know what that means, but I love the design and the look and the feel, and it caught my attention. So I'll spend, 30 to 60 days abroad every year.
Wow.
just regenerating because I can work from anywhere now. We're remote. Like, what a dream.
Sure.
I spent all those decades hustling into spaces and being, available at any moment for this. And now I have this brilliant, fully remote team
Yeah.
that we can work from anywhere. So that is really the key for me, is just taking those new experiences in to remind me why I do what I do.
So, favorite child question. What place has been your favorite?
Oh,
I know.
I just got back from 30 days in Italy.
Ooh.
Boy, there is a little tiny island off the coast of Spain, Menorca. I think I felt like a really unique sense of
Okay.
relaxation there. I love Ireland, so I think I've gone there as much as anywhere. Or honestly, the place I've been most is Switzerland. So,
Oh,
um,
Switzerland. Yeah,
yeah.
that's cool.
So
All right. So
I guess that doesn't
you're
answer the
not.
city question,
I
but
gotta
yeah,
say, that's a political way of answering that question. Your
I
favorite, that's
I
you
think as
danced
long as
around it.
you're
I think
open,
we're gonna put you
it's
down for Ireland. We're gonna put you down for
yeah.
Ireland. That's
Okay,
your
we're going to
favorite
Ireland.
because
But I think as long as you're open, and you don't go in with
uh,
set expectations, I
oh
can feel
yeah,
at home anywhere. That's the
yeah.
key. Yeah.
Outgoing creatives. Yes, you can find a way to fit in wherever you go. So,
A little
all right, of
chameleon.
all the marketing strategies that are taking place currently, what is your new favorite? What strategy is like, this is my new favorite, it's working, it's crushing it? What do you have?
Obsessed with data. Oh, and
Oh, okay.
coming out of not knowing, the 50% is going to waste.
Yeah.
We heavily invested in getting to know how to spend the money more effectively. The whole
Mm,
purpose of the company was to treat the money like it's my own, be an advocate for the client. And so I invested early on into one of the tools we use is called Placer AI, and it's cell phone based data that allows us to see user profiles, personal privacy, all protected, but we can run client lists through and tell you that they're ultra wealthy, that they live in this area, that they
wow.
spend $4 on band-aids, that they listen to these podcasts, that these are their behaviors. So behavioral analysis and audience development, we are in it as far as we can be. I love it. I've even run myself through as a list of one just to see, how accurate it was. Nailed it. It knows me
Wow.
better than I know myself. I can tell you that before you go to a gym, you're going to stop at a fast food restaurant, and afterwards, you're going to go get groceries. I can tell you that almost exclusively. So life is really about that balance, but we wouldn't have known a lot of the things that we know. Like, where do they spend their time when they're not with us? Should I be spending my money in an airport if they don't go there? If my
Yeah.
audience doesn't go there? And so seeing things like favorite places or favorite retailers before I make a decision, vital. Absolute favorite thing in the world. It's without
Wow.
a doubt the biggest game changer in marketing in my 35 plus years.
So the next question is still about data. So I'm going to pivot that question a tiny bit. So when you
Sure.
sit down, you have the data, you sit down with the client, like how do you go over that? Like, what does it look like? How do you present it to them? And then how do you talk about adjustments?
Yeah, big part of what we do is no vanity metrics. I'm not here to
Oh,
like pump you up and tell you, oh, look, all your fans, like you have so many people. Irrelevant. I think
yeah.
digital marketing is a dangerous space because they can really manipulate the numbers in a way that make it look like success no matter what has happened. And so really to me it's about, are we connecting with the goals of the client? So obviously at the end of the day, it's our sales up, our sales down. Sales and marketing have this love hate dynamic anyway. But being able to say things like, hey, this number of people have come to your website. However, your bounce
Mhm.
rate is this, and no one has converted. What's the friction on your page? And using years of experience to see where the hangup is, to say, hey, I know they're coming. Maybe they're even staying a few minutes. Are they staying a few minutes because they can't figure out what to do? Or is your
Oh,
is your
yeah.
funnel broken? Is there friction here? Like,
Hmm.
and I think a lot of times and historically when I've worked with digital agencies, they don't care what's going on the front end. It's about, oh, let us show you how many people you push to your website, or hey, here's, this vanity metric. But at the end of the day, if it isn't working, if the client isn't seeing success for them, then none of it really matters. The data is irrelevant unless it can translate to the goals that they have set. So aligning the goals on the front end to the messaging, to the right audience. So now we have, the Workhorse audience development system where we can run them through their data get that targeted. It reduces the spend so much because you're just hyper targeting, and then being creative about where we're putting and positioning. Everyone has walked away from untrackable, engagement. And I will still stand on the hill and say, sometimes you just got to put a billboard up. Sometimes you got to own that you're not going to have KPIs instantly tracking every single metric. Sometimes you have to just get out there and throw stuff out and see what happens. We can still live in a world where a billboard can convert even if you don't see it on paper.
That's amazing. So knowing when, the where, the what, all of it's, oh my goodness. Yeah,
exactly.
No, it's a crazy world. All right, cool. So you've been doing this forever and ever and ever. So obviously you have the confidence built up through experience and through doing all the things and getting the reps and, bumps and bruises. For a young entrepreneur just getting started or thinking about getting started, like how would they build the confidence? What advice would you give them?
Fail. Like be willing to jump off the cliff. I have never had some long-standing guarantee that any of this would work. In fact, my phrase when I came up with the concept of Workhorse was from Burnout, working with other agencies. When the Super Bowl was in Minneapolis, I was working with a lot of different groups. I was working with an entertainment group at that point and working with agencies. And never once was it talked about, like, what does success look like? It was just, here, how much money do you have? How much can you do? And so my question became, what if an agency worked for the client? That's really where this all started. And I didn't think it was really revolutionary. I was like, certainly, it can't be. But when you flip the script from relationships to media partners to relationships with your clients first, so no annual contracts, no commitments, no free tickets to every show that comes into town because I'm buying $1 million in radio. When you walk away from that and you just do what's right, that doesn't seem like a big deal, but it was a little scary. You have to be willing to take a risk and know that, there's a 50-50 shot this is going to fail. What if this just isn't the right place? What if this isn't something people can relate to? And I've notoriously done that in my career. I've owned and operated multiple businesses, but only because the risk of failure, I can always start over. Here's the thing. Even today, if something happened and I had to go, I always say, if I had to go work at Kohl's for a year and regain, so be it. Right? Like, unless you feel like this is just life and death and you can't survive if it fails, then don't do it.
So
I don't
fail, but also get a mentor, get some experience, get in there and get some reps. Because it sounds like you had other marketing experience and then that kind of built up, made the fails easier.
Absolutely. But I also, it wasn't all, I owned several businesses that were more retail related. And it was because I saw an opportunity and was not afraid to fail. So definitely mentors are huge. As a female coming up through the 90s, it was very difficult to find support in that space in marketing. Women were very competitive back then. And, a lot of the men didn't really love that we were there. And so you really were kind of self-guided through some of it. I was really fortunate. I had some great female role models that were able to kind of say, hey, you can just don't worry about being liked. That was the key. You really had to put aside this idea that everybody's going to love you and this and that, because you do shake up some strong feelings as a female in this industry.
That was awesome. All right. So thank you for your time here today. So if you're looking for someone who is going to be on your side, who's going to sit down and take a deep dive into your business and help you decide the when, the where, the what more diligently than just pay and spray and pray, like as the saying goes.
Yeah.
Make sure you hook up with Allie. So now we're going to do the outro. You can talk about your business and where people can meet up, so that way they can talk a little more in depth about their marketing and business needs.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, first of all.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it was awesome.
second of all, yeah, no, like I said, Workhorse was founded with the idea that I wanted to do good, positive things for the clients that needed us and that were looking for actual marketing partnership and relationships based on the idea that I'm going to spend that money like it's my own. I won't do a buy unless I would pay for it out of my own pocket. So it's really just comes down to, are we aligned? You know, can we help? We work with, like I said, a lot of nonprofits, some smaller, independently owned, up to big national brands that are looking for that partnership as well. But at the end of the day, the key is, do we align with the goals and that you're looking for? So if it is a spray and pray, if you just want digital activation, we're not your agency. We look at things as like I said, from a holistic standpoint. So I'm going to look at your website. I'm going to check your SEO. Right now, we're really focused on generative AI results. We're looking at SEO in general for that reason. We are going to take you through all of the things that we see and do an analysis and then break it down in ways that we could see incremental increase. So if that sounds like more than you want to, get into, yeah, you should go with just a regular agency and let them spend your money. But we are partners. We're here to assist and become part of your team. That's like, our website is actually teamworkhorse.com, because I really feel like we become a second arm of your team. We integrate as much as we can and try and provide as much value as we can through the process, while you're still ticking the boxes. The media buys are happening, the digital's happening, but it's bigger than that.
That is wonderful. Thank you very much. All your information and your years and years of experience are appreciated.
Yes.
And go check out our website. And thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Great meeting you.